Um, we have, there was somebody that was going to present the last time that didn't get to, and I don't know if that person is here today. But if they are, they can feel free to hop into the chat. But Vanessa is here from Legal Aid, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what Legal Aid does because they do a million things that you probably don't know about, and it would be helpful to be able to use them as a resource for all the million things that we're doing. So I will let her tell you a little bit more about what Legal Aid can offer.
Okay, and I see that Brienne is here. Brienne, don't be bashful. Um, you're out of Beckley?
Yeah, I'm in the Beckley office.
Okay. Well, I am from beautiful downtown, and as we have deduced, not really exciting Parkersburg, but it's all good. My name is Vanessa Beam. I am a paralegal from practically the beginning of time, and I do largely Social Security work. However, I am involved with the West Virginia Works Legal Support Project, which is a program between Legal Aid and the now Department of Human Services, DHHR, DOHS, whatever I think people still call it a little bit of both. And we offer services through that organization, in addition to which we offer services from other sources of funding. We have, I think most of you are familiar with our Jobs and Hope program. Brienne, is that one you do? Oh, good. We'll let you fill that in.
Yeah, I'm in the Jobs and Hope.
Okay, good, 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 good. And we also have a big push for expungement and reentry things across the state. In addition to Jobs and Hope, we have a medical legal partnership where people who are reentering and people who are in recovery can get legal services to overcome their barriers. We just have our finger in a lot of different things. One of the biggest things, and I'm sorry, I don't have this on my screen, but it's orange. Woohoo! We are involved with the Tuesday Legal Connect hotline, which is a venture between the state bar and legal aid. What it amounts to is every Tuesday night that is not a legal holiday, anybody can call and talk to an attorney for free about anything. And if you want to call every Tuesday of the planet from here to eternity, knock yourself out. It's not like a one-shot thing. So that's always good. We do resource fairs, and we get around here in Parkersburg. We're having some events coming up here. There's one in September that's going to be a back to school bash for families. We're involved a lot with the FRNs in our different counties. I service 7 counties. Jackson is one of them. But we get a lot of ground. We also have divorce and custody workshops where anybody can come and get information on filing for divorce, responding to a divorce, just informational types of things. We schedule them quarterly here out of Parkersburg. We also are not above coming to the outer counties to do them if there's need and interest. So if you know of somebody that needs some help like that, all they got to do is give us a call. And you can get on our website. Our website is legalaidwv.org, or you can call our intake line and apply. Otherwise, if the person receives West Virginia Works or is in, well, they usually receive it too. If you're in spokes or some of the different social service activities around, those community partners can also make a referral. So it's not strictly limited to, oh boy, you're just in a West Virginia Works situation. If you are a member of the public and you want to show up and get a clinic, we can fix you right up. So some things that we do a lot of kinship work. through DHHR. And that, for those of you who are not familiar, is when you, being a caretaker, house and raise / oversee, take care of a child that is not your biological child. A lot of this comes into place when it's grandma's got your babies. And which flower would you like? Want Legal Aid Deluxe?
It looks like they're asking for the Tuesday night connect.
All right, we can do that. I can do that.
Any of them that you have as a PDF, if you can drop those in the chat or email them, I can share them out with the entire council.
That would be wonderful. I'll get those together. I will get those together. So we do a lot of kinship work, and that is largely because West Virginia has, what are we, the second state in the nation for children in foster care and for non-parent care. So a lot of people don't seem to know or realize that if you are a caretaker of a child that is not your child, but that is a relative, you know, there is funding out there through the Department of Human Resources or Human Services rather, I'm still getting used to it, to help with the children, their needs. You know, sometimes there's bedding, sometimes there's plumbing, sometimes there's, you know, school clothes. It's that time of year. So there are a lot of resources out there that I don't think, especially older folks, and I'm talking great-grandparent older folks, that were raised in the vein of you don't take charity, but you know, that is out there and those children need to eat. So there's food, there's just all kinds of assistance. It's just a matter of knowing to ask for it. We do quite a bit of work with adoption and legal guardianship to establish stability for children. We work on bankruptcy cases. We don't necessarily do them out of this office. I know they do them out of Beckley sometimes, but they are coordinated out of Charleston, and there are bankruptcy clinics for anybody that wants that information. A bankruptcy consult last I knew here in Parkersburg was $150. And if you can't pay your bills, $150 is a lot of money. Ours are free. We work with child support. We work with child custody. We work with consumer issues like debt collection, lemon law, harassing phone calls to pay your bills, that kind of thing. We, of course, like I talked about, have the divorce and custody workshops, and we do those on a regular basis. We also work on driver's license restoration cases because unless you live in Charleston or Huntington, chances are you can't ride the city bus to get to where you need to go. So we can help with that. It's a whole lot cheaper sometimes to know what you can do than it is to keep getting a driving on suspended and the fee just keeps going up and there's no way to pay it. Plus, with the changes in the law here in the last couple of years, you know, you still owe the fine on cases before June 30th of 2016, I believe it is, but you can get out from under some of that, you know, having to pay all that back. You can get out from under that, and that helps people be able to get out and get to work. We do a good bit with domestic violence and domestic abuse, whether it's a personal safety order, a domestic violence order, you know, just the full Monty. If it's a domestic issue, legal aid can probably point you in the right direction. Expungement work. Expungement work seems to be the big thing lately, and it's a good thing. We handle expungements under our West Virginia Legal Support Program, TANF grant, but we also have other sources of funding to assist with that. So it's not necessarily that you have to be receiving public assistance to get the help with that. We also have on our website a series of documents that talks about what you need to gather up ahead of time so that you can basically be lined up to get an expungement before you get started. I guess people a lot of times are very daunted by the amount of work and documentation that goes into that. But if you look at it and you think about it and you gather it over time, it's not quite so scary. And then, of course, the Jobs and Hope program works with that, and it is very different in that what Brianne and Marie and the different ones that do that do have different rules than what I'm used to. So Brianne, you can talk about that. I don't know what
Oh,
the deal is
okay.
there.
So Jobs and Hope, if somebody is a participant in the Jobs and Hope program, then they can get a referral through their transition agent. And their transition agent will send in the referral to me. And then I will usually contact them and get some background information. And then Marie will go over that information to determine whether or not they are eligible for expungement, since that is very much a case-by-case basis.
Mm-hmm.
And then once she's determined whether or not they are eligible, if they are, then she will send them the packet, the expungement packet, which is essentially the same information as what we can also provide like online. It's a list of documents, information that they need to gather together. And then once they've done all of that, then and provided those documents, then we can pass it back over to Marie and she can work on their petition. And yeah, that it is an extensive list, and depending on what their personal situation is, it can be absolutely very daunting. I try my best to work with them and kind of break it down into manageable steps.
Mm-hmm.
And give direction on, okay, like here's some ideas of how you can accomplish this. But yeah, so that's essentially what we do. And then we also do like the driver's license restoration, help with that. And yeah, so that's a lot of what I do with my work.
The driver's license restoration, I know where I am, we see people from all over the place. If you live in West Virginia and you can look out the window and look at Ohio, guess what? You're going to have a driver's license problem. So we get a lot of that. It is, as much as anything, good to point people where they can look, especially, we can't do the Ohio thing, but that doesn't mean that we can't say, well, hey, did you know you can look here and get this? So a lot of what legal aid does, as much as anything, is we point people in the right direction. We come in contact with so many people, and a lot of times what we see is that people either don't think or aren't aware of the different things that are out there. So we just kind of get in on everything. We also spend quite a bit of time working on housing matters. If you have rental property, no, if you rent rental property, or if you're trying to buy a place on a land contract, or if you're having some sort of problem that your housing is unstable, legal aid a lot of times can help with that. We work on evictions. We work on wrongful occupation, which is kind of like when you should leave and don't. Terminations of leases, a lot of people will get in Dutch, and it's enough to cause their property owner to boot them out, just end their lease, see ya, which is not quite the same as an eviction, but it still is the same thing in the end. We also work with land contract cases, rent to own. People how do I say this without this sounding like it's going to sound? People want a place to call their own. We all do. But there are unscrupulous people that will take undue advantage, and most people who don't have money to go to a bank to get a traditional mortgage and put a big down payment on a house do not have money to get out from under somebody that's rolling over top of them, and then suddenly they're out all this money and they're out of housing. Or my favorite, they'll buy a mobile home, and there's nothing wrong with that, but if you don't get a certificate of title from DMV, they're not yours. And people, they want what they want, and they want stability, and suddenly they're out money and no place to live. So we do work on those. We work on powers of attorney and living wills and durable powers of attorney, simple wills. We are having a will clinic here in Parkersburg on September 25th that is open to the public. We just ask that you call and screen ahead, because that way we'll know who's coming and make sure that we've got plenty of attorneys. It is free, but the caveat is it's for a simple will. In other words, we're not going to parcel out every piece of silverware to each one of your 50 grandchildren. That happens. But, we try to provide basic services. We also try to help with living wills, like in case you get hit by a bus or you have a medical issue or something that needs addressed. There needs to be, somebody needs to know if something happens to grandma, what to do. Or not grandma, mom, dad, anybody. We also do school issues through our FAST program, Family Advocacy Support and Training. That, the best way I can describe it, is a program that acts like an intermediary between the school and the family. I always kind of equate it to, I can say whatever I want to say about my kid, and I'm probably harder on him than anybody else would be, but don't you be saying it. And so that third party can get in the middle and help things go a little more smoothly. It takes some of the emotion out of it. And I'll just say it today because I haven't said it. I'm so thankful my child's out of school. But, we work with 504 plans, with IEP plans, with actually getting services in the school, because it's about that time of year and people are going to say, well, I want little Johnny tested, which is fine, but there are paths and ways that you have to go about that to make sure that you get the services that you need. We do a good bit of work with Social Security, whether you need to be on SSI or Social Security, whether you have an overpayment, my favorite, whether somebody, if you're on SSI and somebody dies and leaves you part of their estate, suddenly there's a problem. Social Security is its own little beast. It's a large beast, but we do that work. I personally enjoy it, but I'm not normal. And then we also work, last but not least, on unemployment and wage claims. So the rule of thumb with legal aid is this: if it enters your mind that we might be able to help you, ask. Because the worst thing we can do is say, no, we can't do that, and chances are we can get you to somebody that can. So we have offices, what do we have? 12 offices across the state. And then we also have facility offices at Bateman Hospital and at Sharp Hospital. So we get around, we cover all 55 counties, and the best part of it is that it doesn't cost anybody anything. It's free, and I like free. So what else would you like to know? I will get you some brochures and whatnot, and get those out. I will get those out.
Vanessa, did you
Yes,
also
ma'am.
mention the lawyer in the school program?
I did not. Lawyer in the school. I'm not really there. I'm not really that familiar with it.
So I used to do both jobs in Hope and lawyer in the school. So I'll do lawyers in the school real
Good.
quick. Lawyers in the school is another program that we have where attorneys will do free clinics at in public schools. Like they'll go to the elementary schools, the high schools, libraries, different areas like that, especially in some of those more remote areas of West Virginia, where folks might have a harder time getting to one of our offices. And so that is mainly focused on increasing stability for kids. So a lot of that kinship care work,
Yes.
getting legal guardianships, adoptions, those things set up, helping with custody issues, child support issues, anything like that. So that's where they will legal aid staff will go to them rather than have them come to us for those areas where it's
I'm
harder.
glad you remembered that because I totally,
Yeah.
yeah, our lawyer in the school's attorney for this office is out of Wheeling, but I don't know how many lawyer in school offices there are, but they get quite around.
Yeah, they do. We technically have a lawyer in the school attorney out of our office. They split between our office and Princeton. That position is currently open, but Amber Hannah, who is out of Charleston, is taking a lot of those cases right now.
How does one request lawyer in the school to come to their county?
That is an excellent question. What county are you in?
So my office service is Jackson, Roane, Mason, and Calhoun.
Okay.
I know Calhoun and I think Jackson are both Heidi Kasuth out of Wheeling.
Would that be out of Wheeling?
I think so. I will find out.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I will find out.
A lot of that is also getting like getting that agreement through the schools. We have to get permission from the schools to be there. So encouraging the schools and letting them know, like, this is what it is. Like, this is the reason why they're coming.
I'm sorry, you said Jackson, Calhoun,
Mason, and Roane.
Roane. Okay, that was the one I missed. Okay. Yeah, I will find out about that. I will get in touch with her. As far as another program that we have is our medical legal partnership. And they also do a lot of services for people that are in recovery. And the barriers that come with that are addressed by that. I mean, like here last week, we were dealing with the Social Security case that was flagged as a DA&A case, which is drugs and alcohol. And, what needed to happen for that. And we were able to help get services that were more specialized to that particular issue. We do a lot of outreach with different recovery organizations here. And as soon as our new attorney finishes her bar exam next week, then she will be out covering different recovery and MAT types of issues in our 7 counties. So she should, well, take that back. She'll be back in a week and a half because her bar exam is next week. So she will probably be glad to have that over. I'm sure she will. But, that is, I'm not real familiar. I know the program in Kanawha County is based with Cabin Creek Health, and it's a holistic thing to basically just address whatever kinds of wild things you can think of that people are going to encounter when they're in a recovery situation. So it's a good program.
Does
Very
anybody have
good.
any questions that you guys want to ask Vanessa or Brian? Don't everybody speak at once? If you are here and you haven't put who you are, what organization you're here with, and what you guys do, little blurb in the chat, I encourage you to do so so that we can share resources and know what everybody has to offer.
I have one question. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay. The question I have is if I need a will or a living will, and I'm in Cabell County, do I just go onto your website and see when they have a clinic, or will I call and schedule
Either
an
or.
appointment? Oh,
Either or.
Okay.
Now, the clinics, like the will clinics and the, we just had a housing clinic yesterday. We're having another one Thursday. They're publicized locally. You can get on the website, but anytime that you are interested in services, you can call Legal Aid's toll-free number, or you can apply on the website under the Get Help tab. It's legalaidwv.org under the Help tab, and bingo, there you are.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. I have just a general question for anyone just looking for some resources. I just got an email from one of our counselors over in the Eastern Panhandle and asking about resources for an individual who has a criminal background but is interested in opening up his own moving business and and some resources for actually purchasing the box truck. Our agency sometimes helps with self-employment. I don't know that we can assist with purchasing a box truck. Does anyone have any information on that or just thoughts?
Maybe the Small Business Administration.
Yeah, definitely thought of that one. And anytime we do a self-employment plan, the Small Business Administration is involved. So they're required to get a plan from the Small Business Administration. So yeah, that's definitely something. I think I'm looking more for resources, and I mean he may have to take a loan or something like that. I don't know. So
Jobs and Hope. Jobs and Hope will help advertise it. I don't know what all they'll buy, but they are all in, so that would be a good place to reach out.
yeah, okay. Thank you.
Another thing that I would think would be to call the Tuesday Legal Connect hotline this evening, and I'll give you the number for that until I can post the brochure. But a lot of times you can call and talk to attorneys that practice business work that can give some advice on structuring and how to get your ducks in a row. Of course, you said it was the Eastern Panhandle. I was going to say there was we called it Seed Law, but there was an outfit on the west side of Charleston that was involved with establishing small businesses. But Brianna, are we still doing that? I don't think we are. I don't know. But I'll give you the number to call tonight. It's 800.
Okay. And this is the Tuesday. Tell me again what it's called.
It's the Tuesday Legal Connect hotline.
Yeah.
And we call it TLC.
That's good. Okay, what's the number?
It works. It's 800-642-3617. The lines are open between 6 and 8. Sometimes you call and your call goes right through and everybody's happy. And sometimes you call and it rings and rings and rings and you think you're going to lose your marbles. That means you're in the queue. It's okay.
Okay. Yep.
Otherwise, another resource would be the West Virginia Lawyer Referral Service, which is wvlawyerreferral.org. That is a resource to help people get a consult with an attorney at a reduced fee.
Okay.
Because lawyers are expensive and they're like less than $50 to do that. So might be something to check out.
All right. Thank you all very much.
Yep.
Good information.
All right. Anybody else? Okay, well, you can have the rest of your morning back if nobody wants to stay and hang out with us and ask fun questions.
I will send you the links and whatnot later today. So you can have those, but I will do those later today.
Awesome. I dropped my my email over there in the chat and I can get it shared out with the rest of the listserv.
Good,
Thank you.
good. All
All right,
right.
everybody. Well, happy Tuesday and thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.